welcome to As Real As They Come Dallas with Jennifer Loading
and Yulia Brown.
We are excited that you are here today. Be sure you subscribe, hit the like button, tell us what you like, what you don't like, and we're going to get started here. So Yulia, who do we have with us today?
We've got in our interrogation room, Austin, mate.
Thank you.
Hi, Austin.
How you guys doing?
Good,
and
good.
Our viewers most likely know Austin from our episode at Yoshi Shabu Shabu. He was rather quiet back then, but he's a truly remarkable young man. And what got me is these brief conversations that we had. And he's one of those guys at early 20th, which is most of the time you hear, "Oh, I'm too young to think of anything." It's like, no, you are not too young. You make a plan now. So at 40, you're not thinking, oh, what should I do with my life? You plan it exactly when you are. Because Austin told me, he's like, oh yeah, I got a 5-year plan, and at 40 I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, how? So he's here to tell us how.
Love this.
Tell us about you.
So it's actually really easy as far as figuring out what you want. For me, I always tell people, it's like, hey, don't think about what you want to do 5 years from now. Don't think about what you want to do tomorrow or next week. Think about where you want to be when you're living your dream life, whether you're 50, 60, 70, whether you're in the city, in the country, driving the nice car, having the family van, having 10 kids or 10 cats, whatever it is. Figure out what you want to do and then work back from that. You don't say, oh, I'm going to get a college degree like all the other millions of kids and hope that this gets me a job where all the other millions of kids are applying. And maybe if I do this, all the other millions of kids who, thought like me can do that too. No, it's like, hey, see where you want to be and work back from there. And it makes it 10 times easier. But for me, I'm a motivated person. I try to stay driven. I try to stay productive a lot of times. So, I have my lazy days. I have my days where it's not all there, but some days, you just roll with it. There is no good or bad. You got to take it as it is and keep moving forward, onward and upward.
So were you always so driven, or is it something just happened? You woke up and like, you know what? Forget about it. I'll be as driven as I can get.
So I was actually not always like this. I grew up playing World of Warcraft, or if I can say that, just a video game. For a long time, many hours a day for a couple of years off and on, and I was the laziest bum ever. Okay, my parents said clean your room, do the dishes, whatever, and you couldn't pay me enough to do that. Okay, but after a while, I realized when I quit playing the game, I was like, man, I wasted so many hours. And then when I realized, hey, I'm living life in this real world, not that one. I'm like, hey, I only have a certain amount of time. I want to be making every minute of that count. I don't want to look back as 50-year-old me and say, man, when I was 25, if only I just started doing this, or if I put a couple hours into this. No, I want to get everything I can done now, and I'm in debt to my future self, and so I got to work hard every single day until I get to where I want to be. Otherwise, there's no slowing down. So now I'm driven, now I'm motivated, and it's easy once you know what you want. Because once you know what you want, every day you can visually see yourself getting closer to that goal. If you just plan and hope, if you leave stuff to hope and chance, then it's never going to go your way. You got to make it happen. You got to get out there and just put your nose to the grindstone. And there's going to be stumbles. There's going to be good and bad with it. But you really just got to keep going, and eventually you get there.
I love that. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening to all of this because a couple things that were coming to mind when he's talking about this is that I had a guy on my other show at one point that came in. He does this whole personality testing. We've all heard about these different things like Myers-Briggs, all the DISC, all of those different things. And one of the tests that he does is with iworkzone.com, I believe. But they actually go in, and not only do they test like your skill set that you have, but they also go in and they talk about these like God-given abilities that you have, things that you're like born with. And it's so funny because like I'm listening to him and I'm thinking the first thing that's coming to mind is enterprise, because you don't have to tell you to get out of bed. And enterprisers are kind of like that. They're intrinsically motivated, so they can get themselves kind of on fire. That's how I operate, by the way. That's why I know this. Yeah. Nobody has to tell me to get out of bed. Nobody has to tell me how to work out or do any of the things. If I want to do something, I just make a decision. I go to work. But I love that you talked about looking at the future, because you're right. You have to look at the big picture of where you want to go. And then what I tell people, like when I'm coaching, is that what is the one single thing you can do every day that's going to get you closer to that big picture? The one thing. Because sometimes for some people, when you talk about that scaling backwards, I love it. You're probably a planner, like kind of maybe a little analytical. Some people go, oh my gosh, that's like too much. Big picture. And that's why I think people fall off their goals, because they look so big. But if you can do like one thing every day, one small thing, you can do that. It's attainable. And you're kind of doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I tell people that all the time. I'm like, think about it from that angle, because then they don't get so hung up on, oh, I'm here and how am I getting there? You know what I mean?
People are just floating in life. They're just, you know, on the lazy river. It's like, no, even if it's way down the line, say I'm going to cross the river at that spot and start swimming a little bit, and you'll work your way there. But if you're just, you know, not going towards any direction and you let the world take you wherever it is, yeah, that sounds all, you know, dream world and fun, but you know, the world it's going to chew you up, okay? It's you know, running fast, and you got to stay ahead of the curve. And for me, I feel like if I waste time, I'm going to get swallowed up, because it's moving forward and I'm moving forward, and I got to be accelerating faster than
And I love that. It's very refreshing. It looks like there is a mentality of a Forbes magazine. Coming soon. And not just to blow your tutu and say, oh my God, you're so amazing. But my daughter and I, she's 13 years old, we watched this show, Babysitter's Club. And one of the episodes was, there's a summer camp, and you know, it's like me going to a resort and saying, oh, you know what, I want to go swim with dolphins, but it's unfair that you're charging me extra charge. And that's what the thing was there, that you get charged extra for certain activities. And well, that's what the package was. This is the business. This is not, but somehow there was a protest. It's not fair. It's this and that. I'm like, you're not going to survive in the world of what's fair and what's not fair. You have to work for what you get.
100%.
And as a kid, instead of looking at it and saying, hey, this is not fair, you look at the other way. Where do I want to be in life?
Exactly.
In life, I want to send my kid to summer camp so they don't feel like me, because I worked and I gained, and my child is right now not feeling left out. Instead of planting that mentality into our children, there's, oh, it's not fair mentality. And I grew up in a socialist society. This is not a candy. It's like going to the finest of the dollar store and trying to acquire the products, if you find any, is the same thing. Our children need to strive for what's better, how to better themselves, like you are, instead of settling for what's fair and what's not fair in this world, and just get into this little cocoon, and if I don't like it, I'm just going to throw a fit. And I love the way you have in your mentality.
And I love what you said, because you are so right about all of that. I do think there's this whole idea that, well, first of all, life isn't fair. It isn't. And wherever we have given this idea to people that it is, no, we all have an equal opportunity to do something. We all have the ability to do things.
Absolutely.
We don't all come from the same backgrounds, and we haven't been given all the same things, but we all have the ability to rise up, so we choose to do so, right? We have the ability to do that. And I think that's what's remarkable is that, and you haven't had everything easy, because you've had health problems, so you haven't had like everything just been like easy keen. You know, like, hello, my life's been roses, you know, pink roses and daisies and all this, and I haven't, you know, had
so
to.
Tell us about your
So I actually have Crohn's disease, and that may have been part of, you know, helping me realize how lucky I am. But pretty much with Crohn's, it's an autoimmune disease.
Okay, I was going to ask what's Crohn's, because on TV it's like, you pop the pill, you happy.
Right, that's all they tell you. No more Crohn's.
So it's like my own immune system thinks my intestines are enemies, or they're sick or something. So they are sending like extra inflammatory stuff, extra white blood cells, and my intestines, they're getting inflamed and irritated. And then this is when it flares up. This is what Crohn's does. And so everything you eat, you're not getting the same nutrition from it, because you can't absorb it through your irritated intestines. And then not only that, for me personally, and for, you know, other people, you may lose blood, and so it's like a double negative. So now it's like I can't even eat to put my weight on, and now I'm even, you know, losing more weight. And with Crohn's, it was I don't want to say hard, but it was a little inconvenient. Well, a little.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, a very
I know about
inconvenient-
Crohn's. That's why it wasn't a little. It was probably a lot.
So-
You've just learned to find the silver lining in all that.
Yeah, I was in like 10th grade, and I was a normal kid. I ate the same home cooked meals. I ate the same, all I did was play video games and eat food. And I loved rice. I loved unprocessed food. I didn't really eat school lunch. I didn't smoke, drink. Never even tried this stuff. Parents didn't do any of that. I had no pre-existing conditions. Neither did they. No intestinal stuff. And then one day, it was like the summer before 11th grade, and it was in August, okay? I went to the doctor. I actually got I think it was like second round of the Gardasil vaccine, which is for HPV. And within a week of that, I was having major stomach problems. I was going to the bathroom like 5-10 times a day.
Oh, wow.
And then just week after week, it got worse. And I literally had to count, it was like 20 to 25 times a day. And when I say that, I'm not going to be graphic or anything. It's not, I'm using the restroom 25 times a day.
This is as real as
Yeah.
they come down.
Yeah.
So you
That's
cannot
right.
get too graphic in
That's
here.
right.
But man, it was like every other minute you would just get a feeling of a knife in your
Yeah.
gut just twisting. And it wasn't like, I got to go to the bathroom soon. It was like, I got to go now. And I would go, and if any graphic stuff is offensive, I do apologize. But
We don't do offensive.
it was it was just straight blood. Like I would just bleed. I would literally go to the bathroom and just
Yeah,
bleed, like
wow.
bright red blood.
Scary,
and my
yeah.
fingernails were purple. My lips were purple.
You weren't
I
absorbing.
As
I walk
scary
up
as
the
it
stairs.
is to you,
yeah.
I can imagine how scared your parents are.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, my
Because as a mother, I know, like, my daughter gets a bump on her forehead. I'm like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can be bleeding at whatever, but my daughter
As a
bleeds
parent,
out of
yeah.
her pinky or whatever. It's like, it's tough. I totally get
Yeah.
it. Oh, it's petrifying.
Well, I don't want to get too much into the bad stuff, but there was just a lot of very bad stuff. Right now I'm like 5'10" and like 170 pounds. I'm a fairly thin guy. I was same height, 118 pounds at my lightest. I would literally walk up the stairs at my high school, and I would have to like lean against the wall because I would just see black, and I would be like, I
you
hope
were
I don't fall
absorbing
down
your
the stairs.
food, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
man.
and so it was, after going to the doctor, they're like, you have this, no, you have this, we'll put you on this, no, we'll check with this. And then I got a colonoscopy, and they were like, hey, you have Crohn's, all the way from your ileum right after your stomach to your colon.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, it's pretty, there's like polyps and stuff. And so it was kind of bad, but it made me realize, I was like, hey, well, if I have a thing that's going to make it hard for me now, well, I had a friend who I found out had it, and he was embarrassed to tell anyone. He didn't want anyone to know. And I don't go out telling people, but it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not ashamed of it. Like,
No.
hey, if I got my own speed bumps, I'll put it right here and say,
Yeah.
look at what I overcame. Look at this stuff. And that's why I try not to let stuff stop me. I try to be very motivated, and I try to bring this to other people too. All my
Yeah.
friends, I want them to be. I tell them, I'm like, whatever it is you want to be, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to represent, I want you to be a champion of it. And I want to, teach people how to be just a champion. Like if, hey, I got Crohn's, but being mad doesn't change it. Being sad doesn't change it. Being angry and, whining about it doesn't change it. So you know what? You just got to, like I said, take it as it is and move onward and upward. And so I don't have the time in the day to, be sad. I don't have the energy to sacrifice to, remember to be mad. It's like, hey, well, it happened. Let's just
Yeah.
keep going. So.
I love that
I do
fighter
too.
mentality and not the victim
Yeah.
mentality.
Well, and it's unfortunate that you had to go through that at such a young age. But and we talked before. I can relate to a lot of what he's talking about because that was one of the things they checked me for when I was going through a lot of my health stuff. And I did have nutritional deficiencies, so I get all of that. I'm not gonna say I can totally sympathize with where you are because I can't, because I wasn't in your shoes, but I can at the same time. Because I know what nutritional deficiencies do, and I know that it does more than just, mess your digestive tract up. It does a lot of damage, at the body at the time. So that it's unfortunate that you had to go through that. But I think having gone through that, it gives you almost an advantage in a sense, because you can come out on that other side, like you said, and now you have the ability to help other people, impact other
Yes.
people by that story. And that's what I always talk about with stories like this, is that it's so great when it sucks that you have to go through them at the time that you go through them, but it gives you a different light when you come out on the other side to appreciate things.
Yeah.
You get your own superpower.
Exactly. Exactly. You get your own superpower, and you have ability to have impact. And your
Well-
positivity is great. I love it, by the way.
Well, and instead of being just a little dried out little boy scared of everything.
Right.
You are mentioning MMA in one of the texts we were talking about, and it's like, oh yeah, I do MMA. I'm like, what? So what? 170 pounds of lean, mean fighting machine.
Yeah, I need to hear this.
So how did you get into that?
So, like I said, when I got out of high school, it was a combination of not playing games anymore, wanting to be productive, and then just, you know, trying to stay active and stay healthy. Because at one point they were like, hey, you could get a colostomy bag. I won't explain that, but you guys can look it up.
I know what you're talking about.
And so I was like, hey, if I don't have forever, if I'm not going to be, you know, healthy and in my prime shape till 70, well, I might as well, you know, put it to use while I'm young. So I realized, like, hey, I want to do something physical. I want to do some sort of, you know, exercise. And I started like watching UFC a lot, and it was really, really interesting. And I was like, man, I want to do that. And so I started emailing. I used to watch like high school and college wrestling too, and so I started emailing local gyms. I was like, hey, is this, can I train here, or is this for the school only? And it was actually really hard to find like a straight up wrestling gym. But looking at MMA gyms, I had a month trial at one place, and I was there. It was in Addison, so it was like 40 minutes away. And since it was so far, I would go to 3 classes a day. I would just hang out there all day, and then like I'd, you know, work out and then eat and then take a nap in my car and go to like the later class.
Wow.
And I was addicted, okay? And then I emailed a place that was right next to me. I said, guys, give me a job, or, you know, let me clean or something. I want to train here. I want to be here. I want to be a part of this. I told them, I said, I'll outwork anyone in that building, okay? You put someone in front of me, I'll work harder than them, okay? Just give me the chance. And they were like, yeah, you can come in. So I came in, talked to them, and they said, you know, pretty much, hey, you can clean Sunday mornings, and it'll pay for your membership. So on top of me, you know, working all my hours every Sunday morning at 7 a.m., I'd get in there, start sweeping and mopping the floors. And you have this little broom or a little mop. It's not like one of those big push brooms, and, you know, you got to do it the old-fashioned way. And ever since then, I've just been cleaning there and then training there. I get unlimited access, 24/7 access.
Karate Kid.
I'm not even finished now.
I like UFC.
I love
I watch
that.
UFC.
You guys will see me on there soon enough.
That's what I said. We're going to see you on there, because you said UFC. I'm like, UFC, I like UFC.
I want to compete, like, for sure. Like, not even for
awesome.
a career. Like, I want to get locked in the cage and just be in the sport of it. Like, it's you know, there's things you could do back in the day that, you know, just there isn't now. There's no Coliseum where you can have all these, you know, champion athletes. You know, you can train to be in the Olympics, but that's the closest thing now. It's like you're in control of the room. Like everyone's there to watch you. Okay, whether you're doing like I used to do stand-up comedy, and it was like the same thing. And I told it to my friend who does MMA. I was like, listen, man, you're in there. They're there to see you. You're controlling the room, okay? Every punch you throw, every joke you do, they're reacting to it. And you're, in a very narcissistic way, you're blessing their eyes with it. You don't have to worry about what they're thinking, because they're there to see you. Yeah.
There's nothing
you
wrong
just
with
do your thing,
Yes.
and they'll react to it well. You tell the right jokes that make you laugh. Don't worry about making them laugh. Don't worry about making them cheer. Just do your own thing. And the people who like it, they cheer. The people who don't, they don't. And then you attract the right people.
I'm myself up all the time.
Seriously.
That's
People
what
are
you
like,
want
did she joke, or was it funny?
Yeah, you want to be able to laugh at yourself.
I laugh at my jokes at work, and they're like, that wasn't funny in Austin, and I'm like, that's okay, because me laughing, that was the only laugh I needed. So, you know, not being mean, but, you know, I stopped worrying after
Somebody
I laughed.
wants
I thought
to
I'd let
tell
you
a
laugh.
funny joke, they can be right there with you telling it, or become their own little stand-up comedian and tell this joke that they think will be funny to everyone.
Right.
I saw a number of comedians. I was like, why is that guy there? Was it supposed to be funny?
Right.
But I mean, again, I can stand up and just tell a bunch of my jokes. I can't remember one anecdote to save my life sometimes. I'm like, what? It was funny, but last moment I remember. So I totally relate to that.
I think it's great.
I love your confidence.
I know, I was going to say, I think it's great when you can get to that point, and you can laugh at yourself. It's funny that we're having this conversation now because I was actually talking to somebody yesterday about that, and I was actually making fun of my other show that I do. I said something about when I first started doing it, I used to listen to like everything that I would say on it, and I'd rip everything apart. Now I've gotten to the point where sometimes I'm looking, I'm like, wow, that's kind of funny. Like I just I laugh at myself because sometimes I'm like, wow, that was good. Like where'd that come from?
You got to be your biggest fan, okay? Nobody can do more for you than you can.
And the way I always see it is that you're probably doing more than most. Like you just talked about that, right? You just talked about it. Somebody else can get up there and tell that joke, right? You know, like you're probably doing more than most, you know, would ever do. I mean, getting up in front of people in itself is hard to do, right?
There are some people that are afraid of public speaking.
A lot. That's a big fear for a lot.
People freeze up.
Yes.
I wasn't born like that. Like you put a camera in front of me, like,
well, yeah. Maybe none of us were. Right?
But I love.
Just gotta work with it. The more you do it, the more confident you get.
Yeah, I agree.
20 with the little beginning, and I'm just amazed. I'm just like super amazed because I get fascinated by young adults.
Oh, I do too.
That are so driven, so confident, not looking for fair, but looking for what they can do for themselves to succeed. Like we were talking in the jungle, like back in the day. Yes, the life expectancy was pretty low, but you put any of the modern people in that environment, they'll be like, it should survive probably
Not us.
2 days.
We got this.
Well, clearly. I mean,
I've been just chopping trees for training in my backyard and making huts and stuff.
That's
so
awesome. I'm
just about ready. No.
You're getting it all worked out, right? We're gonna
Yeah.
come stay at your place. We're all
I'll
gonna
probably be the one that will invent clothing back in the day.
Yeah.
Because that naked and afraid stuff, I'm all about nature,
You
but
just
I
don't
have
wanna
to wear
feel
my
nature.
shoes. I will invent shoes and clothing. Because
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'm not down
I can
with
see that. I can totally see that.
I'll tell people about electricity. They can ask me how to make it. I'll be like, I don't know, but I'll be like, guys, this.
See, what you do is
You make the thing zap, you know, and then your phone charges. And
I'll teach other people how to make a fire out of the sticks because I'll need them do this.
You're going to be good at that, and I'm just going to keep everybody moving and
I'll just
happy.
manage.
Yeah, you manage, and I'll keep them all motivated so that they keep
I got
doing
my
it.
coconut right here. I'm supervising, guys.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to do
You're
all the
looking here,
teaching.
you're not working. I'm
Right.
supervising.
So
So if
funny.
we ever get stuck in the hot tub time machine, we know what happened. We're going back. We're telling everybody how it is.
We got the A team right here, though. We do pretty well.
That's funny. That's awesome. It's awesome.
Somebody has to. So where are you from originally? How did you get to Texas?
So originally, I was born in New Jersey, in Clifton. It's next to Passaic. It's part of Passaic County. It's in North Jersey. It's maybe like 30 minutes from New York City. And my whole family, born and raised New York City, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, everyone. Like
I'm from New York.
Yeah, like Washington Heights, like New York City, New York. And then it's really expensive to raise kids in New York. So when my parents had kids, they moved out to New Jersey. So I had 2 older sisters, and then there's me and my twin sister. And then I probably left New Jersey when I was about maybe 6 or something. So I was fairly young. I remember it. I still say pecan and caramel and
Pecan.
the correct way.
Oh, the correct way. I love it.
And then we lived in
I'm still saying
Florida.
pecan.
It's really, I don't understand. Caramel?
How do you say it?
Caramel.
Caramel.
You say it like Russians do. Caramel.
That's good.
That's the right
Say
way
that
to say
again.
it.
I like
Caramel.
that.
Caramel.
Caramel.
Привет.
Привет.
I can't even say it. I love that.
Caramel.
I don't even know how to say it, but I don't say pecan.
Well, eventually.
Are you pecan or you piquant?
Well, it's almost too like my parents they were born on the East Coast. So, it's funny because I get asked all the time if I'm from New York. I have friends in Jersey and New York, and so I always get asked if I'm not. I'm like, no, I was born and raised in Texas. But it's so funny because when I was growing up, you know how everybody here says cement? They say cement. I was never allowed to call it cement. I say cement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they do in the East? They don't say cement. We all hear, everybody here is like cement. And I'm like, I never heard it that way. We all say cement.
There are so many words that are so different these days.
Yeah.
And this is coming from the foreigner like myself.
I still like your
envelope.
caramel.
I can never get.
Oh, envelope.
I gotta ask you a question. Then there is a button. There are people saying button
Button.
instead of button.
Oh, button.
Button.
Here they're like,
Button.
oh, can you take a picture? Can you take a picture? And I'm like, a picture of what? Iced tea?
Oh, a
And they're like, no, picture.
Picture,
But they say
yeah.
picture here, yeah.
Picture, yeah, because they don't say that. Yeah.
Can you picture a picture?
picture? Picture.
This can be a tongue twisters. We can make modern tongue
Yeah.
twisters.
Texas tongue twisters.
Yeah.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
Texas.
Well, I
Texas
do have a
twang,
funny
twang,
story
twist.
about when you talk about like verbiage. Okay, so when I first met my husband, this was in 1996, and I had at that time this cute little red. You remember Ford Probes? You might remember them. They were like little
Sounds
sporty. They don't have them
familiar.
anymore. They were little sporty cars, and I thought I was pretty sassy because I had this red Ford Probe. And he's from, I told y'all, from Montana and a farm, right? Almost by the Canadian border, that direction. He gets in my car and he's like, "This is a nice outfit," and I'm like, looking at my clothes, I'm like, "What?" He goes, "No, your car." And so yeah, so they like so many language things. Like the glove box was called jockey box, outfits, and then creek, like creek, C-R-E-E-K. They say crick.
Yeah.
I'm like, crick. That's like C-R-I-C-K, but it's a creek, like the creek. You know, like a water thing. So it's just funny how like all parts of the country,
foreigners.
all these like places in the country have like this little bit different language for the same thing, you know. So I mean, and it's funny, like jockey box. Like
I don't
what you
feel
know
so
what
bad
that is.
inventing new words after all now.
Exactly. See, you could just start your own like thing and have your own verbiage. Nobody would even know. We'd be all going, "What is that?" You're like, "That's the glove box in your car." Oh, I never knew it was that. Yeah, you didn't know about that?
A jack box?
Jockey box.
Jockey
Jockey.
box. Jockey box.
I don't like jockeys.
I'm like, what's it? A jockey
I mean,
box?
God bless them.
Why do you think they call it a jockey box? I don't even know. I think that's a Canadian thing. Maybe.
Because that's your little steed. That's your horse right there.
It's a
Maybe.
jockey box, eh?
That's where you keep your jockey supplies, of course. Your
I
hat,
hope
your
there
glove.
is. Okay,
I got
we are real,
Yeah,
but
we
not
got
that
it.
real. Oh my God. Just up north, I'm never opening anybody's glove box. Just saying, especially if
'Cause
you're
you
into
don't know
sports.
what's in the jockey
Especially if you're into sports, we're not opening it.
I've learned a lot of like
keep
fun
that
words
Pandora
over the
box
years.
closed.
Now I know we're talking about the creek. Okay, that's a creek, guys. It's the creek.
It's
So
a creek.
and then what? And coyote and coyote.
Yeah.
Like we say coyote here, and they call it coyote. So I call I've just picked up. It's a coyote.
Home.
It's not coyote.
It's your home.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
boot.
I love watching that's
Yeah.
my favorite. Whatever they fix or flip or love it or list it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like, welcome to your home. I'm
We
like,
could have just had a
"Ooh, I
whole
love
game
it."
on how do you say this word, you say the word not. We could
Oh,
have
we
just
so
had, we
need
could
to
have had
do
our
that.
own little show on. Let's do a word and how do we all say the word, right?
What one word that, like, wherever you go, what one word that drives you crazy? Like, one word you cannot hear.
Can
That,
hear?
like, my word was satisfying.
Oh, my kid.
It's so satisfying. I'm like,
But you know what's so funny is my middle child says that word all the time. She'll be like, "I got my nails done. It's so satisfying."
the word I heard satisfying what drove me crazy,
Satisfying.
and that was when slime was thebomb.com.
Yeah, all those videos of like them like mixing it and stuff. Those
And
Instagram.
I have a
And that's where it
13-year-old
was
now,
that-
and she was like 11. And I remember her kid, like her friends, and everybody's driving in the back, and they're just doing with this with slime. And to me,
is
it's just
satisfying.
irritating.
Very satisfying, oddly satisfying,
And that was
colorfully satisfying. All those Instagram.
Thinking about those germs, and
Yeah.
they touch everything, they stick it in there, and I'm like, we're afraid of COVID now, really? I mean,
And
we
they had
had
slime.
slime.
They didn't
We
have
had
bacteria
slime.
before a couple months ago, just so you know. Like there was no such thing as
Clearly.
bacteria.
Oh yeah, it's like everybody were. So I'm turning around. I'm like, why you keep messing with the slime? And they're like, just doing this with it, and they're like so excited about it. I'm like,
Slime.
but this is so satisfying. And ever since then, that word is the worst word
That's
I
so
could ever
funny.
hear. What
And
about you?
Everybody says it, but honestly, that word, instead of saying curse, a curse word, he's cursing, curse,
Oh.
they say cuss, and I can't stand the
word.
word cuss. They're like, oh, he was cussing, and I'm like, what's cussing?
Because it almost sounds
See,
like a
I
five-year-old,
thought-
doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost
I
like,
learned something
ooh,
new.
you were cussing. It almost feels like you're
what
like a
is
little
I
kid.
thought cussing was the right pronunciation
No,
of cursing.
yeah.
No,
because
but
I always knew
everybody
there
here
was-
says it. Everybody,
they do.
ever
It's
since I came to
cursing.
Texas, everyone says cuss. I've never heard the word curse.
Yeah.
But
Unless you're into witchcraft.
no, we're all good people here.
I don't have a word that's coming to mind right now. I can't think. I'm sure there will be one, you know.
I think witchcraft goes both ways. There is dark and light, but it's like yin yang thing. It goes both ways. So I'm like, I guess both of them have place to be, like night and day. But I prefer probably, if I ever came across a witch, probably the white witch. But I'm just saying.
I'm starting to think of like Wizard of Oz now, the good witch and the bad witch.
Well, I met a bad witch before,
You
so.
met a bad witch before?
Oh yeah, but that's a different probably show.
Yeah,
I
that's another show.
straight
We
up
need
met a
to
bad-
have a
curse
show
you.
about that.
Oh,
She had a little voodoo doll.
She's still,
token.
That's what I'm thinking about, the voodoo dolls. Yes.
True story. My friend, she was having the craziest stuff going on in her house. And my culture back in the day, we know all about older things. And what happened was, I'm just watching her. See, what happened was, there was this girl. And I told my friend, I'm like, your stuff is so out of control. Start looking for things that people can access in the areas that they can be by themselves without you there, and see if you find anything. She found a little straw doll with the
Oh my
ring
goodness.
around it, but that's
Yeah.
for a different show.
Wow. Yeah, we need to do a show on that. That might be fun.
I have a friend that I'm really
Yeah,
trying
we
to
need to
invite
show on
here. I'm
that.
looking forward to
I
this.
don't
This is
mess
going to
with
be
that.
fun.
He's
too.
like,
I never
check
touch
out.
a
Yeah.
Ouija board. I don't want to get
Oh, I don't
caught
wanna touch
too.
Yeah, I used to have one of those, and I don't know what we did with it.
Oh,
Like,
I-
I didn't. Yeah.
We were talking about last show about hauntings.
Haunted houses.
I went through so many hauntings. It's yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
fun.
People will be like, "Oh my gosh, there's aliens! Like they're hiding aliens from us." But then if you say like, "Hey, do you think there's like a ghost or demons are real or there's some
Oh,
sort of
yeah,
paranormal
no, that
stuff
doesn't-
on
yeah.
here?"
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. But the aliens, they're
But the popular belief is aliens is actually AKA demons, but it's just
that's
out
what I
there.
think. I don't think aliens have, if aliens could make it all the way here when the nearest habitable place is
They're
50
still looking at
light
us.
years.
It's like
Yeah.
a special 2020.
Oh, now that's
It's
what I
like
said.
a
I'm
serious-
waiting.
it's
I'm
like-
waiting between now and like November for aliens to come down.
We're
Yes,
on,
I'm waiting.
we're on season 7. They're not gonna interrupt us. We're like 2020 season 7. We are on here. It's like alien popcorn going.
They're watching
It's
like they're eating their
how
popcorn.
crazy can this
Exactly.
humans can get?
Right, right.
They're
Look
gonna
at
say
the humanoid.
COVID-20 came from a space asteroid that landed near New York
Yeah,
City.
this is
and
why
that-
I don't not believe anything anymore, because we've seen so many things that I'm at that point where I think we've got aliens coming. We could believe it. You know?
I don't believe aliens coming, but I'm pretty sure there's something bad might be coming. But they were still probably they transferring their tickets elsewhere because whatever's going on Earth, we don't want any.
Yeah, like we don't want to have any part of that
that.
checkout. We'll
like-
let you just destroy yourselves.
Hell is slowly freezing and everything. It's like I think it's
But we had
pretty-
fun today. We had fun today.
We had a
That's all that
blast.
matters, right?
We talked about Wonderful Man, Austin Man.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Fun,
much
Austin.
for being here,
Fun.
and we learned so many new things. I love fresh perspective of young people
Yeah,
on,
absolutely.
I'll
on
be
life.
back.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll have to
talk
bring you
about
back.
more stuff.
We'll bring you back on.
I mean,
another-
we're young women, clearly, but it's just when you look a little bit behind, there is still hope for our generations, and I love that. I love that there are clear thinking children,
It's hard though.
young adults that actually have clear path and thinking about like winners, like champions, and
Yeah.
we're gonna strive. We don't want that 10th place participation ribbon. It's phenomenal. I love that.
Yeah.
And we had so many new things, so much shenanigans that
Yeah.
we talked about. I mean, how
was
much
fun.
greater can that get?
That's it.
Seriously.
That's it.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
And
It's fun.
that's why I said I want to be like a good impact for other people, for people that I know, for my friends.
Sure.
Even people I don't know. Someone off the street, I'd be happy to. Hey, you want me to teach you some boxing or whatever? I do boxing class every this day and that day. And
You need
I'll-
your own
you know,
podcast.
Yeah,
There
maybe.
you go.
I always thought about it, but I don't know. I'm not good with technology.
Well, you
Maybe
just gotta find a
when
good
you hit
person
your
to help.
mid-20s, you'll be like, yeah, I'm ready now.
I don't like touching computers anymore. I'm a hands-on real life guy. I don't
I
even.
love
We don't
Yeah.
like technology either.
I haven't
That's why we
turned
get
on my
people to help
computer
us.
in months.
That's
Like,
why
I
we got
literally-
Walt
Yeah,
touching our
we
computer.
we get people to help us with all that stuff. So.
You need Walt in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna join us next time.
That's right. That's right. And what's awesome about all of that is just that we all get to talk about different things,
Yeah.
be engaged, laugh about it, and
Have fun.
share it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Forbes magazine, or
Yeah.
maybe even something more incredible
On
than
UFC.
Yeah, you'll see me somewhere, okay? And I don't know. Probably the UFC maybe.
I'll bet
Yeah,
my
we're gonna
money
be
on
looking
you.
for that. You have to let us know when that happens.
Oh, trust me, you guys will have front row seats. You guys will be the announcers on the.
That would be fun. Yes.
Can I wear the thing?
Yeah, you guys, you can actually be the
Son.
corners. You can be coaching me. Hit him, beat him up.
I'll
Yeah.
coach you. You heard my husband talk. I can coach you. Bam.
I love it. I love it.
Make that happen. Get up.
Unapologetically,
Yeah, actually-
Yulia.
Even better, I'll put you guys in the UFC. I'll train you, okay?
You get that phrase down. I must break you. You'll be all right.
There you go. I love it.
I must break you.
Well, thank you, our viewers, for watching us. Thank you
Thank you,
so much. I
guys.
hope you had as much great time as we had today. This is our interrogation room here at the Turkish Cafe and Lounge. We enjoyed our wine, vodka, water,
Yep.
water, dihydrogen oxide, anything. And it's much cooler over here. That's why we kind of made our little move from the beautiful Texas weather. And thank you, Austin, once again for being here with us.
Thank you,
Jennifer,
guys.
Yep. All right. And you guys take care. Be safe. See you next time.
like, dislike, subscribe, comment. We're looking forward to all of that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.